Well, welcome to the 2020-21 10th grade parent orientation night. This is normally an in-person event with our admin team here, but obviously due to circumstances, we're coming to you from a video, actually filming from our respective homes, but we're glad that we're getting this brief moment with you just to hopefully alleviate any concerns or some fears that might be out there as we get ready for this school year, which, as you know, is the most crazy start to a school year that we've ever had. And I know that it is incredibly challenging for everybody, especially our new sophomores. I can't even imagine the angst and trepidation and wonder about what high school is going to be like in this environment. It's tough enough as it is coming to a new school and high school, but we're going to do the best we can to help our sophomores and get us off to a good start. We're actually really hoping that this remote learning phase is as brief as possible before we can get back to in person. When we do get to that point, we're going to have a whole other kind of orientation that we'll do for our sophomores, preparing them to come back onto campus. But today's presentation is going to be about the school, as well as navigating a little bit of the remote instruction time that we're in right now. The presentation tonight, we're really hoping that you'll feel a lot better about the start of school after hearing this little presentation that we have. We are hoping that you'll learn about the supports that we have at Fife, both what we have typically and then what we have during this remote instruction time period. And then we're hoping that you know and feel comfortable about the first day of school, which is Friday, September 4th. So that's our three main goals for today. The biggest thing we want to do tonight is really start the relationship. For us, it's all about relationship. And this screen and internet and video does not do that justice. But we are really looking forward to the time when we get to meet you in person. And we're hoping that you can start to get to see our personalities a bit and put a face to a name at least as we get started on this journey together. So to begin with, I am Brandon Bakke. I am the principal at Fife High School, the extremely proud principal at Fife. I love Fife High School and am so blessed to be here. This is my third year. This is our admin team that you're seeing here in this picture. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. So Mr. Gonzalez, why don't you go first?
Hi there, I'm Mr. Gonzalez, and as you can see, my students are A through H, but we work very closely as an admin team. So in general, we support all students, but specifically if you need to get a hold of us, we do have an alphabet that we are in charge of, and I am A through H, and this is my third year also.
Hi, I'm Paige Carroll, and I'm the other assistant principal, and I work with students with last names of P through Z. And again, like Doug said, we work with all students, but if your student has the last name P through Z, then you would want to send me an email if you're having any issues or questions.
Not with us today on the video is the fourth member of our team, Shane Nixon, our athletic director and our dean of students. He works with students with the last name of I through O. He is a great member of our team and is working really hard to get our athletic program ready during this COVID situation. But I just feel so lucky to be working with these guys, and they're just great friends of mine. We care a lot about each other and have fun doing this job. And so welcome to our little family here. When we think about Fife, I think it's just really important that we feel a connection to our school. And when we ask our students to describe their Fife, what you hear is just passion for this place. It's so neat to see the end of their high school career, the fruition of their 3 years, and see just the the outpouring of emotion that they feel towards their school. This is the 6th high school that I've worked in, and I have never seen a school that has such a deep connection with their kids. And that's something that you get to be looking forward to. At the root of when people describe their Fife and what they connect to is relationship, and the adults and students and student to student. And I'm just thankful that we have a school that really fosters a connection to each other. At the core of our work is our mission. And I wanted to take a second and just share this with you. We want to be a school that prepares all students for life beyond high school, developing their mind, their body, and their character. And that last piece, character, is going to be an extremely important aspect of our work, especially this year. I wanted to take a second and just kind of fill you in on what that means at Fife. You'll see plastered around our school the 3 big pillars of what we're all about: family, honor, service. This is at the root of what we want to teach our kids about character. And those are really abstract terms. They're hard to teach. Like, how do you teach someone how to be a family? And so we developed a concept called the heart of the Trojan. And the heart of the Trojan is how we go about teaching those 3 pillars that I just showed you. When a student learns about courage and empathy, for example, or forgiveness, they're learning how to be a part of a family. And so these are the values that your kids are going to be taught and modeled over the next 3 years, which is really an important part of our work. This image that you're seeing is all around our school as a way of showing our students what we really are all about holistically.
So you just heard Brandon talk about our school and how relationships are so important to us. It is so important because it's what helps students navigate high school. And there's a lot to navigate. So the road to getting to graduation can be intimidating. It's easy to get lost, which is why focusing on the whole child is so important to us. The class of 2023 has changing graduation requirements. I'm going to give you a brief overview. So there's 3 main requirements for graduating. First, you have to take and pass the state test requirement for math and English. The great thing is that our students usually do really well. However, if your son or daughter happen to not pass these tests this year, the state has added some other pathways to help meet this requirement. And we will work with your child and you to find the best one to help them meet this requirement. Passing the test, however, is still the easiest and cleanest way to meet this. Second, they will need to have created a high school and beyond plan and present this through their senior presentation. This is something that they have already started working on last year and will continue to work on it over the next 3 years in their family class here at Fife High School. And the last main requirement is that they have to earn 24 credits over their high school career. So if they have 4 years of high school, grades 9 through 12, and they can earn 6 credits each of those years, then that means that they have an opportunity to earn exactly 24 credits. That means that if they fail a class, we will need to work with you and your son or daughter to retrieve that credit through summer school or one of our other alternative routes. Wow. With all those graduation requirements and with remote learning and with the pressure of preparing for college, that can be a lot. Look at this road. It looks pretty lonely and hard to navigate. This is what we would prefer it to look like. We like to wrap ourselves around our students. We don't want them to get lost or feel unsupported. Over the last couple of years, we have raised our graduation rate from 85% to 94%. A big part of this is because of the relationships that we build with our students and their parents and the support that we provide them.
So Miss Carroll talked about the graduation rate, and I love this slide that Ording put out last year. Ording School District was very proud, rightfully so, of their incredible graduation rate. Um, they had clearly the highest graduation rate of anybody that they decided to put on the chart. Um, the interesting thing about it is they left off one school, and that was Fife High School. Our 94% graduation rate that Ms. Carroll said is the highest graduation rate anywhere in the area. It's difficult to find another school, in fact, that has graduated a higher percentage than we have. And that just speaks to that wraparound support that Ms. Carroll was just talking about. We're really proud of that. We also have one of the highest attendance rates in the entire state. And that's no coincidence that our students do a good job of coming to school, and they then therefore do a good job getting to graduation. That's the number one most important thing. And that's even more important this year as we're headed into this crazy remote learning of if getting your students to their classes and doing your best as a family. I know there's so many trying situations out there right now, but it still remains the secret to getting your student to graduation.
All right, thanks, Brandon. And I'm going to talk about a few of those supports now. As you can see, we have our counselors listed here. Mr. O'Brien is A through K. Miss Hope is students L through Z. If you need to contact Mr. Warehouser, he's our graduation specialist. And we also have a career and college specialist, Christiane Thomas. You can see the tiny URL there. They have their own website with a lot of information, which you can also get to by going to the Fife High School website and clicking on counselors for more information, where they have office hours listed, information on schedules, and more contact info in this remote learning setting. Just remember, they're only an email or a call away. If you have any tech issues during COVID-19 remote learning, the district tech department, if you go to the Fife School District website, they have a lot of information there. And then you go to departments and then technology. They would like you to fill out their online form, because with this online form, you can leave your contact information, provide details of what's going on with your tech, and they check it multiple times a day and will get back to you. You can also call the district office at 253-517-1000, and they would like you to leave a message, again, with your contact information. They would like your phone number, name, and the student email who's having the tech issue. If that's not working, you can always contact Ms. Fowler, our librarian, and she will submit a request for help. The key with all of this is contact through email. The tech department, again, would like to contact you through email, because a lot of times when they reach out through their phone number, people don't answer. So again, make sure you know where the tech department website is and you have Ms. Fowler's contact information. Leave a voicemail and your email and they'll get back to you.
So many students can feel overwhelmed when they're in school and have questions. So please encourage them to seek help. When we are in-person learning, so when students are on campus, we have a list of supports that are listed here, but we also have supports when we're in remote learning.
My daughter just graduated from college from Baylor University a few months ago. I was sad because I didn't get to go watch the graduation as it was canceled like so many around the country. But I wrote this down when I went to her orientation all those years ago. And this was their advice for incoming freshmen into college, that the success of your student hopes to achieve will be based in large part on her, in my daughter's case, willingness to take advantage of the many programs, services, and resources that are offered on campus. Seeking help is a skill that they must learn. And I think that was such great advice, because students often, they flounder because they're not reaching out and using the resources that are there for them. And one big problem I see in high school is that the parents do that first and not the student. And that's something I'm going to talk a little bit more about in a second. But encouraging your student to take advantage of their resources is so important. So what do we need from you? The first thing is we need a partnership. This image that you're seeing here, I think, is a very true representation of often how it feels for educators. Is in the 60s, back in the day, they're a student struggling in school and not doing well. The initial reaction was, the student, what do you need to do better? And now that's shifted a little bit. Sometimes the first response can be, if my child's not doing well, that it must be somebody else's fault. And although, again, it's a partnership, there's a mutual accountability that needs to take place. It's so important that we are working well together, communicating and getting a real sense of how we can help your student to be successful. We need you to be a great coach. And when you think about the great coaches, and these are some of the coaches that I really look up to in my life, we need you to push the right buttons. That's what coaches do. They figure out what their players need, and they push the button that helps them improve and get better. You know your student better than anybody. And so helping know how to push them is such an important attribute that you bring to the table. We need coaches that take the players to a place where they can't go themselves. We always do better when we have someone cheering us on and holding us accountable and pushing us. And that's something that you can really do. Help push your student to achieve something greater than they think they can do by themselves. And the last thing is we need coaches who help push students through adversity. And as you think about this year, that is going to be more important than it has ever been. They are going to face some of the most extreme adversity that they have ever had. This is the metaphor that I like more than anything. We need parents to help our students climb the mountain, not remove the mountain. Let me say that again. We need parents to teach our students how to climb the mountain, not just remove it. In other words, when that adversity hits, it's all of our parental instincts to come in and swoop in and just relieve the pressure that's upon our kids. But really, I feel like we're doing them a disservice when we do that. We need to help them learn how to self-advocate and get through that adversity.
So what that means as a high school student is when they're having a problem, have the student be the one to reach out first to their teacher. Have the student be the one to send that email or drop a phone call and have that conversation first. And if the communication is not going well between the teacher and the student, by all means, parents, that's when we need you to help bridge that communication gap.
I can tell you, speaking for as a parent whose two kids went off to college, I did not do as good a job as I could have with this. As much as I tried, when they got off to college, they were on their own. And they had to navigate all this. And at times they didn't know how to do that. When we think about what makes for a successful high school experience, parents, here's how you can really help. We want you to reward and compliment your student for their effort. Think about that more than their just the end result of their grade. I, again, fell victim of this. Sometimes I would reward my kids because of the A, rather than maybe focusing on how hard they worked. And I think that's the most important thing that you can be thinking about. Really encourage your students to get involved. Students who get involved are actually way more satisfied in their high school experience, and they do better academically. So finding that club or activity or organization is so important. And again, it's going to be such a challenge here as we get started. Really ensure or help encourage your student to keep a planner, a daily organizer, keeping track of their calendars, their Google Classrooms, and how they're managing knowing what their time should be spent on. And last thing is just helping us ensure that they get to class on time. this used to say get to school on time, but now since they're going to be in at home, whatever you can do as a family to help them get to their Zoom classes on time is going to be so important. So to sum up, we effort in the classroom plus student engagement outside of the classroom plus learning how to handle adversity is really the secret to a successful high school experience. And when we think about remote learning and this challenge that's coming at us, help your students decide what their learning space is going to be at home. Maybe figure out a place in your house where that's going to be beneficial for them for distractions. Review with your students the Zoom expectations, which we're going to talk about in just a second. Help them get organized with their daily schedule. Encourage your students to be self-advocates, which I already talked about. Contact the school if you have some tech support issues. And as a parent, I really would recommend that you stay as informed as possible by reading our Five High News. That can be daunting when you get the big email. And we try to streamline and not just bombard you with a lot of unnecessary things, but keeping your head around what's going on is going to be really critical.
All right, thanks, Brandon. Just know that all of the teachers will be going over with students the Zoom class expectations at the beginning of the year. Here are just a few highlights to remind parents and students what we're up against. As Brandon mentioned, it's not arrive at school, it's arrive at your Zoom class that teachers will provide links to. So we want students to arrive on time. Teachers will be recording tardies and absences. And remember, if you're having tech issues or maybe you have to get little brother or little sister onto their Zoom, we would rather you arrive late to your Zoom session than not at all. Beware of what is behind you. Use a wall for background if possible. That way, any distractions, if people walk in the room, they won't cause you any issues. We want you to dress appropriate. We can't be taking any pictures or videos of these Zoom sessions, and anyone showing inappropriate behavior will face disciplinary action. And students will get a more detailed Zoom expectation with their teachers. So how do we stay connected at Five High School? As Brandon mentioned, we're only an email away. Teachers is a first good point of contact for your students. Everybody has a Gmail account and teachers check them often. Most of our Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, our social media use is for celebratory purposes, for outside of school events, and sometimes we showcase awards and activities that are happening in school as well. We have a teacher hub where students can go and get all their information for their Zoom classes and their Google Classrooms and contact information for each teacher. We also send out a Five High School newsletter, which has a lot of information, important dates and things coming up, and a lot of action items for both students and parents potentially. So make sure when you see the Five High News, you look it over. We'll provide construction updates there as well. Auto calls, you won't be getting as many as you would in elementary or middle school, but every once in a while we do auto calls. So make sure if you hear a message from the school or Principal Baki that you listen to that. Sometimes we need to do an auto call because we need quick information to get out that maybe email won't work for. We also use a Remind app, so students will learn how to get on Remind, and we push out information so that students remember to bring your Chromebook for testing, or we have this event tomorrow. We have a school website that we update almost daily, but remember, we have information on the school website, whether it's for counselors, teachers, the calendar, and other contact information there as well. And as you can see, our phone number is 253-517-1100. All right, specific information about your students' Google Classrooms. We have created a teacher hub that's located off the Fife High School website under staff. click on Teacher Hub. And once you get to the Teacher Hub, there will be a link for every teacher. Click on the link and you will find information for that teacher's Google Classroom and Zoom sessions. Thank you, Brandon. We also have very important information on the Fife High School website. It's key that you click View All Events. Once you get into the calendar, you can then click on the specific event for details. So we project out each month, but then we have our important daily events and the details that go with them located on the calendar.
Thanks, Doug. So another resource that I would highly recommend for both parents and students is to use the Skyward app on your phone or to access Skyward from your computer on a regular basis. This is where you can look at student grades, student attendance, their class schedule, and any teacher announcements that may have been sent out through Skyward. So the first day, what is family? So we want your student to have an amazing first day. We want them to feel cared about. We want to slow it down. This is where we start that wraparound with the students. The first day is all about relationships and getting familiar with how Fife is going to work in this remote learning setting. In the first day, your student will be in family class for that whole time, and they're going to focus on what is going to be happening over the next couple of weeks, and they will also get connected with some of the different resources and learn about the different things that we'll have during remote learning. Okay, a couple of things that students need to know about, and just some reminders for you. Students need to check their email and reply to their family teacher by Wednesday the 2nd. They should be receiving emails from their family teacher on that Tuesday or Wednesday if they haven't already. Please make sure that your student has their Zoom class code for Friday, that family class. On that Friday,
Miss Carol, on that email that you referenced that they're getting from their teacher, actually, that's where that Zoom code is located. Is that
correct?
Accurate? Yeah.
Correct, yes. In that email that they are replying back to their family teacher, that is where they should be able to get that Zoom class code. So you can make sure that they read that email very carefully. On that Friday, like I mentioned, they will only have one class. It is their family class, and it is from 9:30 a.m. to 12 p.m. And this class is, again, it is an orientation for them. It's helping them get connected, and it's preparing them for when they will be in their regular class period starting on Tuesday.
And that's a long stretch, that 2.5 hours in one class period, but we've broke up the day. There's going to be breaks in there, and as she said, we really are trying to get the students prepared for when their first classes begin on Tuesday after our Labor Day break. And so we want to spend that day giving them all the information they're going to need to do that. This, I know, is not the way that it's not the most thrilling way to get a parent orientation on a long video like this. And if you've hung in there to this point, then we thank you for that. Again, I'm just so sorry that we're not there with you in person, getting to know you and meet you. And that's gonna happen. And we really look forward to that day when we can all be together again. There's a lot of really exciting things happening in Fife for your students in particular. Our school has made leaps and bounds gains academically the last few years. We've brought in one of the larger college and the high school programs where our students get credit for college, actually get four-year college credit in the classes they're taking across our school in different classes, which is really exciting. We have a brand new STEAM science building that's being built that you're going to see start to pop up on campus. It's going to be just beautiful and incredible, and your students are going to get to move into that. here in a little over a year, which we just couldn't be more excited for that day. It's a great time to be a Fife Trojan. But one of the things you're going to see is our rallying cry, "Get 'em Trojans." And I want you to know what that means. When we say "Get 'em Trojans," it means that there is no adversity that we won't face head on, that there's no obstacle that's going to be too great. There's no deficit that's going to cause us to quit. That when we say "Get 'em Trojans," it means there is no fight that we won't take on. And in this COVID time, this where we're not together, "Get 'em Trojans" has never been more important than it is right now, because we're going to face some really difficult times here out of the start of this year. But I believe in our students and our teachers, and together we're going to get through it. So on behalf of Doug and Paige, thank you for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you soon. And get 'em Trojans.